Guten Morgen. Hi, my name is Sascha Schubert. First question of all, should we do this in English or in German? Who of you is an English native speaker? Okay, then we do this in English, as long as you don't say we have to switch to German. My name is Sascha Schubert. I'm an entrepreneur. I started 3 companies and 2 membership associations. The first was a real estate agent company. The second, a social network for women, a total fail. And the third one was a non-profit management software company. The last association was the German Startups Association. We started this 3 years ago. I'm the deputy chairman of this association and the local leader of the Berlin chapter here in Berlin. What is the German Startups Association? I have a laser pointer. We're doing kind of lobby work for startups, so kind of explaining to politicians what is a startup, what is the difference between a startup, what is the difference between a startup and a large company, and what do have politicians to do to foster the German startup ecosystem. The second thing is we provide a network for startup entrepreneurs, and third thing is we do public relations, not for startups but for the ecosystem. In Germany, doing a startup is not so common, and we're going out to schools and a lot of fairs and explaining, hey, why it's important for the German economy that we have enough startups. These are some of our members, more than 500, and some supporting members, larger companies from Germany and the US. And this is what we do all over the year. We are doing a lot of events. Most of them are peer learning events, and it's starting with a very, very early stage conference, and it's ending up at the exit conference, where you can learn how to sell your company or how to make an IPO. So let's start with a topic. The topic today, from what I know, is a mixture of what is happening in the Berlin ecosystem and what is the difference, what is an incubator and what is an accelerator, and how much do we have here in Berlin. Here are some numbers. I collected them yesterday, and I think it's 80% the truth. We have more than 300 active business angels investing in Berlin startups, and this is a wide range from someone who's investing, let's say, 5,000 or 10,000 euros. Most of the time, those, let's say, smaller investments come from founders and entrepreneurs who didn't sold their company yet, so there's not much money on the bank, but they still want to support startups, sorry. And some of them are investing 500,000 or 1 million euros in one company. It depends on the company stage, and it depends on the company market. And if you want to do something in medical, you always need a big amount of money. If you want to sell digital goods online, it's not that expensive sometimes. 70 VCs invested in Berlin startups. There's also a wide range from local investors who have their office here and who only invest in Berlin startups, basically early stage and startup stage investment funds. Over there's a booth of the IBB. They are one of the biggest investors here in Berlin startups, and some other investors come from Asia, China, London, everywhere. If the company stage, if your company is more mature, you usually attract money from abroad, and if your company is younger, you should, let's say, hunt down investors from, let's say, from the Berlin ecosystem, because usually angels only invest, let's say, in a range of maybe 1 hour traveling, because they want to help They want to help you to build your company, and this cannot happen if someone is sitting in, let's say, Los Angeles, because you have 9 hours in time difference, and this really is kind of exhausting if you want to foster someone without having a direct grab on him. We have 25, around 25 incubators and 25 accelerator programs, 50 co-working spaces, and a lot of universities, and a lot of university incubators that help startups from the university to grow their company. I think more than 4 meetups a day where you can meet people. Who actually started his company yet? 1, 2. And who's a kind of nascent entrepreneur who wants to start his company within the next 6 months? Okay, most of you. Who has a high growth idea, something that's good enough to build a company with, let's say, 100, 200 employees within 5 years? 50 employees within 5 years? 5? Okay. What is the difference between an incubator and an accelerator? I think sometimes it's not quite clear what the difference is. It's not A and B. It's always a mixture. An accelerator program is usually kind of 3 to 6 months long, and at the end you have a kind of presentation day, a demo day, so-called demo day, where they bring in all their contacts and where they put all the startups on stage to present in front of potential customers, but basically to present for business angel and VC investors. And sorry. And at an incubator, you usually have a large building with office space where you can have a lot of mentoring, but they usually don't have this kind of fixed schedule for you. It's like more like an ongoing system to support your company, and with mentoring, with meetings with consultants, potential clients, and investors of your company. Usually, and actually there is no real usually anymore, usually they take a small amount of equity from your company. It depends, it's from 1 to 10%. And sometimes they take even more. It depends on how active is their role in building your company. If the accelerator program or is a kind of active, something like an active co-founder in your company, they usually take a bigger amount of share from your company. Sometimes they don't invest any money, but most of the time they invest a small amount of money to get things going in the first maybe 3 months. And some of them have a tuition, some of them offer office space, and some of them they usually have a demo day at the end with more than 400 people around. What is happening in Berlin? This is the Berlin accelerator landscape, and as much as I know, there's only one real idea stage accelerator. An idea stage accelerator usually starts when you don't have a kind of team. Yeah, you're a solo entrepreneur and you're looking for teammates to start your company. When you usually don't have a kind of perfect idea, they really work on the idea, and the rest is, it depends. Most of those companies take you in when you already have a kind of MVP for your company. Does everybody know what an MVP is? One is, and the others. It's a minimum viable product, so that is something that might be sold to someone that is not perfect, but it's kind of the first. It's the first stage of your product where you can find a customer out there, and they all have a different focus. Hardware is for hardware startups. Use Now Accelerator is for IMO tech startups focusing on real estate. The Green Garage is focusing on green startups. Startup Bootcamp is agnostic. It depends from every semester to every semester. They change their kind of topic. Sometimes it's IoT or something else. FinLeap is focused on fintech startups, and Atom Leap is focused on hardware. And yeah, iFocus, this is a very nice idea. It's an accelerator that is focusing on solving problems people have with their eyes. So there's a wide range. Yeah, you can find something that fits for you here in Berlin, and all of these are seed stage startups. So you need your teammates, and you have to build something like a small MVP. And the accelerator program for, let's say, startup stage or later stage startups is the Entrepreneurs Organization Accelerator Program. So you already need 1 million in turnover a year to apply for this program. If you have any questions, just raise your hands. And there's the blue line. the blue line is the difference between last year's presentation here and this year's presentation, because these accelerator programs started their operations within the last 12 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as you can see, this kind of landscape is developing. And I think right now you can see a new accelerator program starting here in Berlin every month, and it's kind of hard to find the right one, or it's getting harder to find the right one. Here's the kind of what separates an incubator from an accelerator and an early stage VC. It's funding, its office space, ongoing mentoring, joint services. Accelerators usually don't have joint services, so someone is actually taking care of your, let's say, invoices or billing or something else. And they all offer kind of peer learning at an accelerator program. It's very focused on those 3 months. So I always, when I criticize it, I always call this helicopter mentoring. A startup is coming in, meeting six mentors in 1 hour, and everybody is giving his advice in a very, very short time, and you have to pick what's important for you. And there's a difference between the investment methodology. They usually invest only 1 or 2 times a year, and they're investing whenever they meet someone where they want to invest. As you can see here, all kind of programs are limited. They usually want to sell the company within the first 4 or 7 years, and they are around for the first 3 or 4 months. Where should I apply? I have to skip. First of all, you have to be a startup. Yeah, not every young company is a startup. A startup is a high growth company, maybe not right now, but in the future. You should apply when you have an imperfect network. So if you just have left university and you have some contacts but not relevant business contacts, you might apply for an accelerator. Sometimes if you're looking for another teammate, you can apply. And if you want to raise business angel or VC money, because most of the programs are focused on kind of helping you to raise your first investment round. So where should you apply? Yeah, you have to be a startup. Yeah, in your plans you see something like a 3-digit number of employees in 5 years, and maybe 5 to 10 million in turnover. So your startup has to be a kind of ambitious project. Yeah, and usually this is how they make money with you. Yeah, they grab a small piece of your company for a small price, and they sell it for a 10 times higher price in 5 or 10 years. And if this works out, they make money. But they only can do this if there is a good exit, a potential good exit in the next 5 or 10 years. If you say, I don't want to sell my company and I don't want outside investment, you're maybe not the right person for an accelerator program, yeah, or for most of those accelerator programs. And if you say, I want 5 employees in 5 years, it's still a good business, yeah? Don't get me wrong, it's still a good business. And sometimes it's even nicer than a startup, because there's only one truth about startups. They are fucking hard. You have to really kind of work a lot, 14 hours, 20 hours a day. You have a lot of external pressure, and so it's a decision what you want to do. Do you want to build a company that gives you a good income, or do you really want to build something like maybe not a Facebook, but maybe something like a Vuga or a Mr. Specs here from Berlin with 300, 400, 500 employees in 7 years? That's a lot of work, and you have to really kind of focus on that. And you need a lot of help. You need a lot of outside investment. And if you really want that for the next years, you should apply for an accelerator program. Any questions about this? Actually, I planned 5 questions in my time schedule. Yeah, I'm at the end of my presentation. I have to look on the watch. Any other questions? Maybe not about accelerator programs. Maybe what you want to do, or any advice? Okay.
So I don't want to work 14 hours a day, and my idea is not super scalable. What programs or resources in the Berlin area, I do want to employ more people, and so who can I talk to get help with to grow a small business that's not a startup?
You should build a kind of peer group for yourself, a mixture of friends and mentors, and and maybe you should reach out to some of them. Maybe it's not a perfect fit, but it's good to talk to them. Maybe you cannot apply for the accelerator programs themselves, but they usually have a lot of people around, and they provide some meetups, and it's good to speak to them and see, okay, maybe this is too big for me, but this is my first advice for first-time entrepreneurs. Go out and build yourself a kind of sounding board where you can have feedback and where you accept the feedback. This is very, very important, because it's not about the smartest guy. If you don't like him, you usually say, oh, I don't want your feedback. And this is very important, that you have a professional relationship where you can accept feedback from. And maybe it's always a mixture. Yeah, you need someone who's maybe on the same level like you, 1 or 2 people, and you need someone who's more experienced like you. Maybe a consulting guy, or maybe a mentor who's kind of professional. Maybe your former boss. My first investor in my first company was my former boss. I worked for him 3 years, and after a while I said, hey, I really like you, but this is not the way I want to live. And he said, oh, that's a surprise. And then I asked him, hey, I want to build a kind of group that helps me building my company, and if he wants to be someone in this group. And he said yes, and he gave me a check. Because he gets rid of me. But this is really, if you work somewhere, ask the people where you want to work in the future with, even if it's not the same company. Yeah, ask your boss, or maybe someone who started a company before, and talk to them and say, hey, I want your advice. This is your own small accelerator program. Okay. It depends. The earlier it is, the less information you need. At the Founders Institute, they have a really strong test on your personality. It's a mixture of an IQ test and something like a golden profiler of personality. And you only have to summarize your idea with, let's say, 40 words. Because usually if you apply at Founders Institute, you change your idea afterwards. Because your idea is not really set in stone, and you need new people for your founding team, and then you work on your idea, and maybe you change it later. And if you say, okay, I'm a fintech startup, you maybe should go to FinLeap. There's a lot of competition. Yeah, every startup in the room is a fintech startup, and but they also have a kind of very professional support system around that's focused on fintech startups. And if you build a hardware startup, you can go to hardware.co or AtomLeap. And if you already have 1 million in turnover, you can go to EO Accelerator. And the application process is always a bit, it changes a bit, but they usually want to know who you are, what's your professional experience, and sometimes they have a kind of IQ test or an entrepreneur test. Founders Institute is pretty professional in that. They have an online test where you need kind of, let's say, 2 hours to finish it, and afterwards you think, oh, that's a lot of work, but the quality is pretty high. It sorts out a lot of people who actually don't have the potential to become an entrepreneur within the next 9 months. What is your business, or what is your idea? Is it fintech, hardware? Is it navigation software or a hardware device? Software, okay. Yeah. And is there a business out there for that? Because the market is always kind of okay, something special. More questions? How can I make sure? And then? This is a typical first-time founder question. Just don't take care about this. Someone will steal your idea if it's good. And the accelerator usually isn't the institution that steals your idea, because the accelerator is not focused on building companies itself. It's just supporting startups. But if you find someone who believes in your idea, and if you find more people who believe in your idea, you usually get copied. And if you look on Facebook, I started a social network 8 years ago or 9 years ago, and after a while we had 150 competitors in Germany. And at the end, you have Xing and you have Facebook, and that's it, and or LinkedIn, and there were kind of 1,400 car manufacturers in Germany 100 years ago, and now you have kind of 4 or 5. So someone will steal your idea, and the idea is not kind of so unique that this is the thing that leads to success. You need an idea, because an idea is the glue between the team. Yeah, you have to have an idea, a mission, and then you have to be aligned to your mission, and this is usually what keeps the team together. Yeah, we want to make the world a better place with this, and yeah, this is what supports your team. But you cannot prevent that somebody will steal your idea. I would just say, okay, if you make your plans, I would just say, okay, we have 10 competitors. And maybe if you don't have any competitors, there is no market out there. Yeah? We are the only ones who are selling refrigerators in Grönland. That's no business. Yeah, the idea is not good. And usually it's about kind of being focused on your idea and being more focused on your idea. And this is why you, at the end, work 14 hours a day. Because if your idea is not unique or somebody copies it, it's about kind of getting your stuff done. And if you work more than the others, you might be faster. And if you're faster, you speak to more clients, potential clients, and more people sign up for your service or whatever, and then you're more successful. Is this an answer? Okay. Ja.
Gibt es auch Inkubatorprogramme?
Are there incubator programs? Usually, incubators have a program. If you look on where's Bayer? There's someone missing here. It's here. It's the Grants for Apps program, and the Grants for Apps program is the accelerator program of the Bayer Collaborator. The Bayer Collaborator is a space where you can work on your idea, on your kind of healthcare or chemical idea, and the Grants for Apps program is the accelerator inside of the incubator. So there's not a real differentiator about this. Sometimes it's all about mentoring, it's about peer learning, and it's about connecting people, and it's about learning how to present your company in front of investors. What is your business or what is your idea? It's a food idea. Yeah, and you have 10 employees in 5 years, you said. Is it a delivery service, or do you want to really kind of make the food by yourself? Okay. More questions? Okay. Thank you very much. And you have to start your own company, even once in your life, to see if it's the right stuff for you.